No more prayers when the God dies, but the future holds with my palms high, left in my hands and make it alright like yeah. Never let it know your dreams. Put it into a dark regime, transform the score machine. I ain't had no pot to piss and now I'm frying competition. Burn my way to top position, scared of heat, fuck out the kitchen. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. I'm frying competition.
You know who else fries some competition? WWE.
What's up, fellas? Happy Monday night.
Happy
Yes, sir.
Monday.
Man, that was a hell of a bro. That was a good Raw.
That was almost pay-per-view worthy. I like that. I liked that.
That was a very Raw back.
It felt pay-per-view worthy, didn't it?
Yes.
It definitely.
I feel like.
High octane.
Go ahead.
It was high octane. It was. It really didn't have many dull moments. Even the promos, they were short and to the point. They didn't get drawn out. The first one was the longest one, and honestly, even the Gunther one. But the Gunther one was a very cool little explanation of his story in a quick 3-minute segment. And but everything was quick, fast, and right in your face the whole way through.
Bro, yeah, they were good, bro. They were cooking all weekend with wrestling now.
Yep.
All weekend, WWE was on fire.
Listen, I feel like Saturday, Sunday, and today is how you come out of a PLE weekend. That is how you come out of a PLE weekend and not look flat-footed. That's how you look like you still running on your toes. I love it. I like it.
I agree.
Absolutely, 100%.
But hey, I mean, we'll get into it. We seen the shit tonight, bro. Mommy returned.
Ooh.
They gave it away halfway through the show. I said something in the chat. I said when Damian Priest come in and he forced Dom out of the room, and Finn Balor stepped to him and said, "Hey, what were you going to say? What were you going to say?" He says, "I'm going to keep it to myself because he's going to find out on his own." And I said, "Whoop, whoop, here she comes."
Listen,
bro, as soon as that music hit, bro, I lost my shit.
Listen, chat and people watching, I need you to understand this. So Spectrum got our whole lives fucked up where we're all 40, 30 seconds within a window of actually watching live from one another. I promise you, if you could have looked at the pre-show with just us three watching Mommy Returns, you would have thought we were watching WrestleMania 40 with the Avengers ending. I promise that.
Yeah. I kind of, you know what, bro? I kind of had that same feeling.
Yeah. But look,
weird
the damage.
As weird as it sounds, bro.
Wow. This is going to be nuts. Nuts.
Like Derek said,
she has been the women's division for a year and a half. Top to bottom, left to right, in and out. She has picked up everybody. She has elevated her competition. She has elevated her game from the promos. She is top of the line to the in-ring ability. She's top of the line. She can carry any female wrestler in the business. She is the best female wrestler in WWE right now.
I can't disagree with anything you said. You're absolutely right. She is here, and every other woman on the roster, and no disrespect, they're here. Because I'm sorry, there's a select few that's there with her, but I'm talking about over the mass majority.
I was gonna say you got Mommy and you got Liv. And man, this
Don't get me
just
wrong. And don't get me wrong. I love both of them. I love Liv and I love Mommy. But Mommy made her grand return and Mommy looked hella fucking pissed off.
Yes.
So this
bro.
this war tarrant that she's finna go on, where I feel like she don't have to do too much speaking, just whoop everybody ass, and I feel like that's the right way. Like I feel like you end the pay-per-view at Bad Blood.
So hear me out on it though. You can kind of see the rifts within Judgment Day already.
I see where this is going.
Damian Priest told Seth to throw that gentleman's agreement out the window. So could this maybe be a part of the cracking the foundation of the Judgment Day? Because she could easily put blame on them that, hey, you should have stopped him.
Now, not to cut you off, but going off what we said on the previous show, is we said that whether it was the pre-show or the actual show, can't remember now, but we talked about it. We were like, who do we think is going to be the reason the Judgment Day break up? And we were all like, at some point, it's going to be Damian. I think we were all
He'll
right.
be the first one.
If you look how it played out, he's the one that really stayed in command with Mommy on the phone. He's the one that's been like, hey, you fucking up. You better leave Liv alone. You know how Rhea's going to feel. And they're all just like, yeah. So I feel like he intentionally did it and was like, yo, bring your ass back. They acting wild as fuck. And like we talked about, I think it's going to be them two running solo. But I think they add a third person. Because I feel like you need somebody to hold that mid-card title. I don't see Mommy forgiving Dom no time soon if you can't
this is
the storyline.
I was kind of looking at the overall of it, as the night was going. You can't really get off of Dom being a heel right now.
No. Well,
he
from
brings
a male's perspective, he's not.
Well, I was gonna say, bro, you can't. He's too good of a heel right now.
Yeah.
Liv, you could tell they're aiming towards that heel role. So it makes sense to put her and Dom together.
Right.
And bro, I thought we were going Edge and Lita Monday Night Raw special.
Y'all see this face? This face is the exact face I made when I was like, oh, like right before Mommy came out. I'm like, oh, so we finna have, like he said, Edge and Lita 2.0.
Oh yeah, we
I was like,
I felt like it was.
Hey,
we're not on Netflix
yet. Go to Peacock, go to WWE, search Edge and Lita, and watch it. I'm trying to tell you.
If you don't know now, hey, if you know, you know. But if you don't, you're about to find out.
Yes, sir.
Hell, if you don't want, listen, if y'all don't even want to search WWE Network or search the website or search on Peacock, YouTube Edge and Lita, I promise you, the 5 minutes and 45 seconds, that would be the highlight of your day, night, time. You will enjoy that. That'll probably draw you in to be better of a wrestling fan. Now, that storyline touches real life shit.
Talking about Mommy's back. You know there's going to be a match at SummerSlam. Now, it's too soon, but it's not too soon. This match happens at SummerSlam. Does Mommy get her belt back?
No.
I say Bad Blood.
No.
She don't get the title back, but I think Bad Blood is the culmination of
Bad Blood squashes it all. Hear me out on it.
So here's my thought process behind it of why I say she don't win the title back, and I'm sorry to Mommy fans because trust me, Mommy needs gold.
No, I'm a Mommy. Hey, I'm a Mommy fan.
So I realistically believe it like this. between the two characters of what we saw so far, not saying that they can't evolve and become what it is. I feel like
Yeah.
Mommy don't win the title back because they're gonna put Mommy on SmackDown to help keep the USA ratings up, while Liv stays on Raw and can push that edginess on Netflix. That's my opinion.
I like that. You know what? I didn't think about it that way. Now, before we get to the next topic, let me just kind of put it out there. Did Jey Uso also go to SmackDown? You know, I get it. He's chasing single gold and shit right now. Yeah. You know, could it be family first? Hey, I want that singles gold, but yeah, bygones be bygones. I gotta help blood. What we went through is personal, but what they're
Right.
going through, this is more personal. I can see that.
I can see Jay making the
We all grew
move.
up. We all grew up together.
So
Yeah,
look,
Solo was the baby. Solo hung out with these guys. He was that street kid. He
can
was the
I
one
be
that got in trouble. Cause think about it, bro.
okay? So now I have a question to piggyback off your question, since we're gonna kind of go down the rabbit hole a little bit. So
Okay.
I feel like he is going to go back to SmackDown. But do you think that it's always been set for him to go back when he came over to Raw and was in SmackDown colors? Because remember, he was on SmackDown in Raw colors with the bloodline in the black and red. Came over, switched to the SmackDown colors.
I honestly, man, you know what? I kind of,
Could that be like, I'm not saying that it's a big
when,
thing,
well,
but could
look,
that be like a little small detail that we're missing?
when he came out with that palm tree logo, main event, Jey Uso, and really became his own brand, he, I thought the same thing. And when he came out with the Yeet shirt, he came out with the black one with the main event. He came out with the blue one with the white Yeet, and then he came out with the white Yeet with blue writing, which I have. I believe a few of us have. I I like where you're at with it, and I've thought about it, and that might be a point. Maybe he was meant to go back.
So maybe I can get y'all thoughts on this too, real quick. So, with that being said, is that why we haven't seen Jay get a title run? Because it might push him into the next echelon above Roman?
No,
Because, well, hear me out. He's hot. He's fire. And I can understand from a marketing standpoint not wanting to have him as a world champion, but as a title holder, just like mid-card title, you don't see him possibly
I
having the pop over Roman, whether heel or
I
face.
think what we've seen at Money in the Bank between LA Knight and Jey Uso is a hint
Okay.
at a future when LA Knight has the US title and Jay goes after that.
I see it now.
Because, hear me
Okay.
on this one, you get Roman coming back. Rock beats Cody. Because Cody's not over as a champion right now. We get it.
Like we're trying.
Cena's coming back for a run. I think Cena's going to be on both brands, though. I think he will be doing double duty. And you know what? I'd be all for it, man. I am all, and we're going to get into the more of the Cena stuff. But I'm all for if he bounces to both brands. You know what, bro? Even if he pops up and does a couple NXT shows, I'd be all for it, man. I don't need John Cena specifically tied down to one brand in this final year.
Right. I don't
But
think he would.
you get Rock defeating Cody, like you were talking about before, Trevor. USA Network switch in October. You get Rock as your champion, helps boost your ratings automatically, right or wrong.
Right.
That's why they put Cody on Fox and gave Damian the title on Raw. Well, had Seth with the title on Raw. But you get Rock as your champion. Then down the line, Cena beats Rock. Breaks the record. Maybe, just maybe, you get uh, Roman beating Cena for the title. You get another run with Cena. Maybe get Jey Uso. Maybe he's over by that point.
Right.
Because while this is going on, Jey Uso has the U.S. title from LA Knight. That happens Royal Rumble, maybe by WrestleMania. I think that'd be fucking crazy.
Hang on. You cooking. Like, wait a minute. You cooking. LA Knight, Jey Uso, WrestleMania, Las Vegas. You mean to tell me Jey Uso would be what, a few hours from San Francisco, and you don't let him win it at Mania? Because hear me out. At that point, LA Knight would have helped the U.S. title be on the TV every week. He would have helped boost the prestige of the title. Him and Jey Uso fighting over the title would have make it where that the title means something like the IC title. That gives it relevance. And you mean to tell me that because LA Knight will get it what, SummerSlam till Mania, that'll give him like good 7-8 month title reign roughly.
Yeah.
At that point, with them being on USA, you could easily push and put him in that top rotation for the main title now. Granted, I get why you had him face Roman and he lost to Roman. You wanted to see if we was going to stand behind him when the big lights came to shining.
Well, think about it. We were behind him twice.
Yeah.
For a title run against Roman. In the beginning when he got forced to join the bloodline.
Yep.
And then when he split on his own. So I think you're onto something as well. Where could he be a year from now? Where could he be by WrestleMania? And again, Roman comes back, helps elevate him even more. Maybe he elevates Roman. Somebody needs to elevate Jey, for fuck's sake.
I'm pretty sure every fan of this show and every fan of wrestling, at least the WWE, will agree with me when I say this. We would all love to be a fly in the room of creative.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? You know what's going to be great to be that fly as well? We heard about it. We talked about it. Let's get into it a little bit more, man. John Cena announced his retirement. Now, we were doing a post show, so I did get the opportunity to go back and watch the John Cena thing. Yes, 2025 is John Cena's last year. Yes, the Royal Rumble, January, will be his last one. WrestleMania will be his last one. But he will go until December of 2025. We talked about it a little bit already. Maybe a title run for Cena. Maybe a heel run for Cena, and we can get into that.
Okay.
But there's a lot on the line. Before we get into the next part of the John Cena topic, let me talk to you guys real quick and put it in your minds. If John Cena wrestles through 2025, should he be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame 2026?
What you got, Derek?
Absolutely. I think everything he's done for the industry of professional wrestling, how he honestly carried it through probably its darkest time in its history, from a fan to business ratio. It was really tough being a fan of wrestling for a long time. And I know firsthand, I never wavered just being an addict of professional wrestling. And, I was going to comment on something earlier, and it didn't come up, and it's okay. But now that it actually has come up, it's appropriate, because my analogy was about Roman Reigns and your comment, Trevor, when it pertained to, elevating, Jay above that echelon above Roman. And I'm like, no, you can't. Right now, Roman Reigns is the John Cena of this time. He will get the loudest pop when he comes into the arena, whether it's boos or whether it's cheers. There's 50% of the people that love him. There's 50% of the people that hate him. John Cena for 15 years was that dude. Every time he walked into an arena, it went ape shit. But it was a half boo, and it was a half Cena sucks and a half let's go Cena. We've all been there and seen that. So to bounce back to that, and then back to John Cena, he immediately, the way they've done things in the past as far as the inauguration into the Hall of Fame for the candidates, there is no question that immediately, if not nipped it into the Hall of Fame.
So, okay.
Think about that.
While you're talking, I'm kind of thinking, could this be the final? Could 2025 also be the final year of Roman Reigns? Because remember, at the end of the documentary, if I lose the title, I'm gone. I could, you know what? I could see him coming back, running the Bloodline storyline, helping put that to bed. In the meantime, put a couple other long-term stories, i.e. Seth Rollins, stuff like that to bed. But maybe he goes out, and then your class of 2026, John Cena, Batista, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. If he decides to hang it up, maybe he is in the prime, maybe he's not. But you could go Rock, Roman, Cena, throw Batista in because he's earned it. But you get your ruthless aggression and your, I guess, PG era guys that have earned their stripes.
However you want to word that.
Yeah. But maybe it's time to induct that time frame and move forward. Kofi Kingston, maybe he gets it while he's still in. Rey Mysterio got it. Kofi's earned it.
So, first off, to answer the question, 650. That number alone is why John Cena deserves to be in the Hall of Fame at the 2026 WrestleMania Hall of Fame induction. Why 650? That's Make-A-Wish. This man has made over 650 Make-A-Wish things for children. Like, just the humanitarianism alone, he deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I'm not counting his title reigns. I'm not counting his win. Just the humanitarianism alone. Now, the other reason I think he deserves to go in, he put up with Vince McMahon's bullshit.
Yeah. He went, bro. You know what, man? Like, reading how the issue that Batista had when they turned PG, for John Cena to go from that ruthless aggression guy, being able to be edgy, to
coming out freestyling, talking about choke on these nuts and shit.
Bro, that was such a awkward but great moment looking back at it. But yeah, he came out with that Vanilla Ice style in a way. And it just, he went straight PG. He was.
Did we get some of that ruthless here? Netflix? Think about it. Ooh.
We will. We're gonna get. No, we're not. Ruthless aggression was a horrible What's up, Daniel?
Can I'll be real? I feel like I said it before. I think the ruthless aggression era was strictly because you had this behemoth called Brock Lesnar that realistically in real life could ran through your whole fucking roster night and day with his
Yeah,
eyes
but
closed,
see,
both hands tied behind his back, and 3 bears trying to kill him.
the ruthless aggression to me was Vince McMahon going balls to the wall because once once
You
Austin
have
was
no
gone,
competition
bro.
no more.
Yeah, competition was dead. Austin was gone. Rock went to Hollywood full time. Hogan couldn't do it. Like everybody he had built his whole entire legacy and company around, he ran into the ground. Bret Hart was concussed and done by because of WCW because of what he did. You
Right.
couldn't get Shawn Michaels at full force. Hunter was there, but you had to
Hunter,
go into that. You had to go
so
into that next echelon of guys with Hunter.
I'll be
With that's when you got your Batista, your Brock.
so I'm pretty sure y'all will agree with me on this one. Maybe 2005 era type year in the midst of this ruthless aggression, almost to the peak, like the start of PG. If you look at it and look at some of the storylines, other than the Katie Vick storyline, I feel like Triple H had already started his hand in creative. Because the Katie Vick storyline, I feel like that had Vince McMahon's hand written on it all the way around.
And that was Vince to a T.
So, and then
Ben says that he believes John Cena should be in top 10 for everybody. I'll agree with it. He's
he's not
not
wrong. He's
like
not
we
wrong.
said the other night. He's not the goat, but he would be on the. If you had a Mount Rushmore,
Right,
especially for each generation and each era, he would be. He would absolutely be the first pick.
right. To piggyback off the everybody else that goes in that Hall of Fame group, I was gonna ask you, with him now being on the board of directors, do Dwayne put himself in the fucking Hall of Fame, or
Yeah, absolutely.
but this was my other question that I've had since I was a kid, and they also have not been to this city in a hot minute. I thought they were waiting until they go back to Miami to do WrestleMania and then induct him at home in Miami. But it's like they haven't been back, and then the last time I think that they didn't do it then. So like, do he do it in 2026? Do he do it in 25? I mean,
I
or
don't.
do
I
we wait until we end up in Mania?
as
I mean, in
crazy
Miami.
as crazy as it sounds, and it might not be so far fetched anymore with Vegas now being on the docket. Maybe it was because of Hard Rock.
As a Miami Hurricanes fan, I hate that fucking stadium.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was because of the Hard Rock Casino and all that.
Listen,
Um,
I'm not gonna lie. I hate the stadium because we can't beat Florida State in the stadium. There, I said it. You're welcome.
but hey, talking on all the John Cena stuff in the retirement, let let's talk about it, man. He's planning to work 30 to 40 events this year. Here, real quick, we don't have to do the whole big project like we've been doing. We got one Friday. We'll talk more about it. But what kind of matches or feuds would you like to see John Cena involved in? We already know CM Punk's opened the door, and said he'd want to work with Cena. Baron Corbin has even come out and said that he'd love to work with John Cena. And I seen a meme that if Vince McMahon was running WWE, that would be John Cena's last match.
Facts.
I got two that I want him to run it with.
Okay.
The first, I need the throwbacks one last time. Him and Randy Orton one last time. I need them to blow the fucking roof off the place. The 5 moves of doom versus the 3 most deadliest letters in sports entertainment. I need that one final time.
Oh yeah.
Other one, I need to see him versus Ethan Page. Take a trip down to NXT. I don't need a rivalry. I just want a match.
Like I
want a match,
said,
and I want you to help him get better on the microphone. That's all I want.
Bro, just because you said that, I automatically, I even Ethan Page, and we'll get more into him in a little bit, but he could easily be the next John Cena.
Those were my two.
What about for me? I go back nostalgia. You brought up Randy Orton, so I mean him being probably to this day right now my favorite on any roster right now, Randy Orton, and has been for a few years now. But I'd like to see The Rock and Cena get into the ring one more time.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they teased it at Mania. I was like, I don't want to say The Rock. That seems obvious. They teased it at Mania. They look like they want to square that. Because you got to think, we got the first one, The Rock one, the second one, Cena one. You got to give me Cena Rock 3 like you gave me Rock Austin 3.
Yes.
I just feel it's fair.
Yeah, and
if I'm kind of bouncing off of your idea, as to coming from a new guy, I personally, Damian Priest. I want to see, because John Cena can sell anybody. He could sell me. He could sell all 3 of us at one fucking time. That's how good Cena is. I really believe his in-ring ability was that good in his prime. I mean, his physicality might hinder him today, but in general, in his top game, he was great in the ring with anybody.
I don't know, man. If you got Cena back in a ring shape for one last final run, bro, we'd see what we've seen. I think.
I honestly made the comment that he physically, just appearance-wise, he looked better than he has in a year and a half.
Yeah. Here's a good one.
I like that, Ben. I like that. But not as a last match.
No. Hear me out. That's not a last.
But not as a last match.
No, last WrestleMania match.
Still don't. Okay, so hear me out.
Because remember, he's still continuing after WrestleMania.
No, I get that, and you're not wrong. So hear me out. The last WrestleMania match. Hear me out. I know they don't need to be over. I just think it's dream book fantasy. Seth freaking Rollins. John Cena last WrestleMania match. I'm sorry. I feel like you could put that in the middle of the show. I know that screws Rollins out of a main event, but like you could put that in the middle of the show, and that will help re-energize the fans again. You got 2 people that they love, the yesteryear, the today. I like it.
I like that idea.
But I still would like to see John and Drew go at it. I like that too.
Who's his last match?
We don't know yet.
I feel like if he's walking out the door in December, his last little bit is against Cody.
I was about to say, I believe Cody Rhodes would be perfect.
Because Cody is probably going to be like, hey, I want that. Or realistically, it could be the dude he asked to induct him into the Hall of Fame, which is Randy Orton. It could be that too.
Yeah.
So, hear me out on it. And it's crazy enough to think I have a few of them in my mind.
Okay.
Could this be where we get the return of Brock Lesnar? Because legally, He hasn't been indicted. His name is legally not in it. It's all implications. It's all in everybody's. I mean, yes, I get it. We're all not stupid, but by letter of the law, it's been long enough. There's been a lot of rumblings for him. Why not?
So hear me out.
But
If you're gonna do that and induct Cena, let's say they are gonna induct Cena in 26, then if that's John Cena's last match, I need it at like in December. I need that the main event: John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Batista. Let the four that really saved the cucking company in that, let it really close out the Vince McMahon era with those four.
you know what?
I wouldn't care who won. It would just be a nice way to be like, thank you.
You know what? I am all for that. And hear it out on me. Hear this out. Those are all four men that you do lead into that Hall of. They are that part of that 2026 Hall of Fame. And
You
yeah, I
let
know Brock Lesnar's in that mix. I'm cool with Brock being part of that Hall of Fame, unless from now until that moment, unless something comes out with his name on it, and they have to say, hey, no, okay. But I feel enough times pass. I feel it's okay to bring him back. Let him have this little run. Cena's back. Let Batista. Hey, if Batista's not filming and he wants to, bring him back, bro. I would not be opposed to it.
So I got one final person I want to see Cena work with, and I don't care when it happens. I just want it to happen. So can we flash back a little bit? And I know we all don't watch NXT like that.
Okay.
Flashback to when right before Carmelo got called up, and him and Trick was finna start their feud. What did Trick do? Cena, when do you know it's your turn? Okay, so then you can feed off that, because let's say at some point you bring Trick to the main roster and he's a heel, or you turn him heel in NXT, and then he goes to running off the mouth. You got him and Cena, and that can help Cena get. Because my thing is, I feel like Trick is slow and a half a step behind in the ring, and that'll help him get to where he needs to be. That'll help him look more fluid. That'll help him improve on that mic skill and not sound like a little bitch sometimes. I'm sorry.
I definitely think, and we'll talk more about it here in a little bit, but I think there was a reason to what happened with Trick last night. And I think we'll see more about it, because I do believe they ain't got shit for Carmelo Hayes, so we might get Trick Williams coming up and having a little feud for a minute. Now back to the Cena one, I do want to see a CM Punk and John Cena run, and I don't give a shit. And you know what? I want a John Cena heel turn, because what better time than now?
Also, we forgot something.
I believe we talked about it the other night. What better time than now? He hasn't won a singles match in how long?
Yeah. Years.
Nobody's really behind him.
Since
Nobody.
like before the solo match, didn't he say his last victory was like 2015, 2017, some shit like that?
2018.
28.
So hear me out. Actually, no, we didn't talk about this. I was reading on it on one of the groups I'm in. But you get Cena turning heel, and yeah, on the fans in a way, but it being hey, because I was so enamored with wanting to, be back around you guys and all this. I wasn't 100%. I would put myself in a position when I wasn't ready.
So
I can't do this buying into the whole fan. I can't buy into it with the fans.
Right.
So I mean, and I wouldn't again do it the same way Rock has done it. But I believe Cena can do it. We just ain't seen it.
Right.
So I didn't hear what you said right before Buck started talking, Derek, but I think you said what I was hitting at. There's something we didn't talk about with Cena. He is one title away from a Grand Slam champion. We said that he get a title run. He gets an IC title run. That's the only one he ain't put hands on. That'll make him a
Ooh,
Grand Slam champion.
hey, you know
So,
what? I like that idea.
and then guess what? What is Cena great at with the singles title? Open challenge.
Uh-huh.
Elevating it.
Ain't that team
Gunther
that
would, but because hear me out. Gunther took it here, right? But we got Sammy with it, so I'm not gonna lie. Sammy's not Gunther, so that's a step down in my opinion. At some point, Braun Breaker is going to be too big for that title within the next year, 6 months.
Yeah,
Braun is going to be too big for the IC title. So what
yeah.
do? Braun, Cena, let Super Cena. Super Cena can take the ass whooping and win the title. Ric Flair used to do it for how long?
yeah.
Hey, Ric Flair was also fucked up half the time.
We
But
not
that's
talking
another.
about
Hey,
that part.
that's another episode.
We're not talking about that part.
That's the dark side of pancakes and power bombs.
But
After dark.
I really think like if he gets a title, it has to be the IC. That's the only one he hasn't held. And what's him holding that IC for like 6 weeks? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you gave him the tying WWE championship ring and what he held it for 3 fucking weeks before he lost it to Bray at EC.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad at. What I was mad at was you only put the title on him to tie Ric Flair. You could have kind of let that been his real true last championship run. Don't get me wrong, Bray deserved the title too. But then you turned around and shitted on Bray's title run.
Yeah,
So
they did.
in my opinion, you could have let Cena technically ride that into after Mania.
Hey, I'm not even gonna lie. They shit on both his title runs.
Oh yeah, yes they did.
Yeah.
Yes they did.
Because as soon as I get him into the lack of fans kind of killed the whole Fiend appearance, but man, you brought back a Roman Reigns and put the belt on him right off rip.
Yeah.
But you know, I had mentioned CM Punk and John Cena future. Another thing that happened tonight, man, we should kind of get into. We seen what happened Sunday with CM Punk getting involved. And then we seen the aftermath of it tonight on Raw. CM Punk came out, kind of gloated about it. Seth Rollins came out and called him out. Called him out for being a selfish bitch, basically.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that firsthand?
Well,
What you got, Derek?
well, you know, being a fan of all 3 wrestlers, let me just straight up say that first of all. I've always been a fan of Drew McIntyre. I always loved the European wrestlers. They're really good in the ring, which was kind of surprising for a second because Drew McIntyre wasn't in the beginning. He had to grow into it. He had to grow into everything when he first got here as Mr. McMahon's guy. But he left, came back, and when he came back, he elevated his game up really big time. Now, Seth Rollins goes without saying. Years ago, I was talking with my wife. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but when I met my wife about 8 years ago, right, we were sitting around, and she's a wrestling fan, and I'm a wrestling fan. We grew up wrestling fans. You know, she wasn't as in it as I was. But I told her, I say, hey, those 3 guys talking about the Shield, they're going to be running professional wrestling one day. And lo and behold, 10 years, almost 10 years later, boom, this is where we're at, right? Now, moving forward.
Yeah.
This is going to be nutso. I believe the way it's going to work out, and we could talk about that in depth in a little bit, but in the end, I really buy into this Seth Rollins. It kind of sucks, that he took that loss, but it builds up that animosity and it brings back that tension that we were all looking forward to back at WrestleMania when we should have got Seth Rollins and CM Punk.
Right.
So I really feel that that's good. And with this suspension thing going on, I think that's a perfect time to give Drew McIntyre, who's been running roughshod physically, his body and everybody else's in his path for the last 6 months to a year. So give him a little time off, let him heal, recuperate, just natural stuff, put him to the side, but build up that match that you're going to look forward. Did everybody just, all right, BREATH, breathe. This match is coming. They're building something beautiful. It doesn't take overnight. This is not fucking AEW. You have to be patient. These stories will develop. These stories will unfold. Ask fucking the natural Ethan goddamn Page. He fucking left and then shitted on these motherfuckers, and within a month, he's got fucking gold. So understand. It's going to happen. And when it does, it's going to be epic. I'm done.
I 100% agree. What I will say though, first off, yes, give Drew the time to go home, recover, make sure his wife's okay, make sure CM Punk's not unexpectedly showing up to his house like LA Knight did to that bitch ass Logan Paul.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. There was a part of me. Hey, there was a part of me expecting Drew McIntyre to show up and CM Punk's front yard with Larry petting him.
Oh my god.
Hey,
honestly,
how about the part where CM Punk told Seth Rollins that it's personal. You got a wife and a daughter. He's got my wife and my dog on a bracelet. It might be 15 cents retail, but it's the principle.
That shit had me dying.
He's dead ass serious.
I will say this. I think McIntyre returns either the Monday before, or they've been doing like they always been doing with this rivalry to this point. He shows up SummerSlam night in the middle of that fucking match, cost CM Punk the fucking match. He probably gonna hit Seth Rollins' ass too, and it's gonna be chaos to where the first match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is going to be a triple threat. That triple threat is what's going to get Seth Rollins breaking out of it. And I feel like that's what sets us up. Because then you could do that in September. And then October, Bad Blood, we get the real CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, tear the fucking house down. And we can all move on. Well, we're not moving on with our lives. This long-term
storytelling. Hey, just thinking about it, now we got SummerSlam, Bash at Berlin.
That's two
and
involved.
And then Bad Blood.
Yeah,
so you could easily, and this is where I'm wanting to go at it. Could we get CM Punk and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, since we're supposed to get it at WrestleMania? Then you get your triple threat match in Berlin between McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, and then at Bad Blood to kill this whole feud finally, like it's supposed to be. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, there's a title on the line in October. Because I personally think Damian Priest might be the underdog and beat Gunther.
I think he's going to beat Gunther. You could put a title on Gunther right now, but I don't think you do. I think you have plenty of time to make things better with Gunther. I think there's a better way to build that feud. Even if he beats Damian Priest, it shouldn't be the first time. It should draw out. At the same time, let me say this. At the end of the day, when they're done with these three rivalries that we've been discussing, you can bet your bottom dollar Drew McIntyre is going to end up holding title. He's going to hold gold at the end of all this, and he's going to deserve it because let me tell you what, he is doing fan-fucking-tastic. When he came back, I was kind of skeptical how he was going to be long-term, and he won the Rumble, and, you know, things started projecting, and it seemed like it was going to stale out for a little bit, and then over the last – and look, I don't give a shit what you say. Real hate, fake hate, I don't give a shit. You better thank CM Punk because he's helped resurrect Drew McIntyre to the top of the line. Yeah, absolutely. He's feeding.
I'm not gonna lie. I use this a lot. I need it on a damn shirt. We got to work on this little emojicon or some shit to broadcast this across the damn screen. But at the end of the rivalry between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre with the sprinkles of Seth Rollins, I feel like it low key, if it's played out just the right time length, storytelling time, that it can be up there with the Bloodline storyline. If it's played out the right,
You know what? Hey, you know what? No cap.
Emmy worthy.
McIntyre and Punk, I'm more invested in than the Bloodline.
Oh, 100%.
So
But is that
I
because
love.
Roman's not here?
No,
Or is that
I
just
no.
because the overall
The entirety of the listen. The entirety of the first part of the Bloodline storyline was elevating Roman, elevating that bloodline. When they got them titles, it was like, okay, y'all are interfering. Yeah, it elevated that story a little bit, but a lot of their story went to here.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, WrestleMania 40 was as good as it's gonna get. You have to bottom out. You have to crash. And not all endings and all crashes are good or are bad.
No.
You're gonna get that Rock and Roman at Mania. It ends that bloodline storyline. I'm invested to that point. My investment when it comes to the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is alright, what's next? That one's the unpredictable part.
Like I said,
I'm not worried
Emmy
about
worthy.
which Fatu or which Hanoi or which Tonga is showing up. It's what are they going to do next to each other?
So I feel like I get what you're saying because I feel like the Bloodline storyline has reached the point of okay, it's the family against the fucking world, and now it's family versus family. And let's be real, everybody's tired of fighting their own damn family, and we kind of don't really want to see you fight your family.
Hey, so hear
Keep
me
it
out.
real.
Tell me it doesn't give you vibes of like step parent. I
Like,
come from I literally come from a broken home, bro, with like siblings and shit like that. And
same.
I know how that shit felt like.
It's
Because
same.
back in the day, we didn't get parents didn't give a fuck about how the kids felt.
Hey, I can honestly say that I grew up in a functional home, in a functional family, and now I am in a broken family.
Okay, well,
At 44.
Okay, so I will say this. I'm not gonna lie. And in all my years of living, I have never heard nobody say they came from a stable home. So shouts out for that. Like that deserves to hang.
yeah.
One shout out to my mom and dad. This was quick shout out just because it's brought up. I'm 44, and if you know anything about family and society from the 80s to right now, I am the only person I know. And 2 years ago, almost when my mother, a little over 2 years ago, when my mother passed, okay, My mother and father had been married for decades. Decades. I grew up in that, and when I used to get into conversations with friends, I felt like I hated talking about my family because I felt I was being looked at and like I was talking down on somebody else because my family was all good and everybody's mom and daddy was divorced and had stepdaddies and stepparents, and I was like, it was weird. Dead
And
serious, but like it was crazy.
and I mean it again. Back to it. That's why I'm invested more in this whole CM Punk and McIntyre thing. No, it doesn't give me that PTSD. It doesn't give me that. Ah, shit.
Traumatic
We're
experience. Wait,
we're coming from a broken home. We all ended up in the same company, so we're all gonna just fight. Like,
Right.
what my boy said on social media? Emotional damage.
yeah, right.
Because I would love to swing on a few family members with all
Hey,
the respect though.
hey, you know what? Speaking of emotional damage, this is probably gonna give some people an emotional damage watching it again, especially if your name's Chelsea Green. The Women's Money in the Bank stole the show, in my opinion, on Saturday. And you know what? Let's just check out the highlights before we get into it.
Can I say Chelsea Green, I think, was probably top 3 in the match? Top 3.
Nah, bro. Knowing her fear heights,
And
knowing her,
and that
knowing her husband Matt Cardona, and everything, knowing the work she's put in since she's been back with the company. Bro, she was the best. That was the best I have ever seen Chelsea Green in a WWE ring. Putting it
Oh
all
yeah,
on the line, bro. Hey, putting
absolutely.
it all on the line, and she didn't even win.
Yeah, and didn't flinch at none of it. She played the part
And
perfectly. You know.
hey, and on social media right after, she said, "I, I almost died."
listen, I'm gonna start with this. You can see her soul leave her body when she went off that ladder onto them tables.
Bro.
You saw her soul stay on that ladder while the body went falling. I
She's like,
promise.
No, bro. I seen that soul go up there with Owen Hart, bro, man.
damn.
Not even gonna lie. When that moment happened, she went and visited Owen up there.
Bro,
Now,
that was crazy when Tiffany Stratton just went up the ladder. You were looking like you knew she was saying something to her, and she was talking to her, because Tiffany Stratton's not that. She hasn't got that edge on her, that the vets will have. Even the good guys, even the faces will have that edge about them. To where they would just go up there and smash them off the ladder. But Tiffany Stratton, she's got a different approach, and she comes up and she talks to them because they're girly, and all of a sudden she's like, basically, bitch, I'm fixing to push you back. You see those tables right there? I'm fixing to push your ass back.
Yeah, hey, but you know what? You gotta give a testament though, because just for the mere fact, and I know they talked during the match, and that was the one thing that I know a lot of people were critical of during the pandemic era,
Yeah.
especially without piped noise, is you could hear a lot of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And at that, I can tell you right now, Tiffany dealing with the veteran. Normally, the veteran carries that rookie. This time, it was the rookie looking at the veteran, knowing everything, going, "You ready?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's
bro,
exactly how
hey,
Amaru?
hey, and Chelsea damn well said nope.
Listen, first off, shout out to the girl Tiffany Stratton. It's Tiffy time.
yes,
That's first
sir.
and foremost. Okay. First and foremost. Also, my only money in the bank prediction that I got right.
Hey,
I'ma hold that one. I'ma hold on to that one.
Same.
hey, we all get one. I'm glad we all got that one.
Right. Two,
We bought the rest.
based off the week we just came off of, what we had Ross, NXT, SmackDown,
Well, no, hang
Money
on.
in the Bank,
I
Heat
got
Wave.
Damian Priest right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Heat Wave, I will say this. This match alone was the match of the week. Heat Wave was the PLE of the weekend. But this match right here,
Absolutely.
first off, fuck Dave Meltzer on whatever he's gonna give this, because anything under 5 stars for
No,
this
hey,
is ridiculous. First
yeah,
off,
hey,
you had, not only did Chelsea Green Soul leave her body, Io Sky Soul left her body. What's her name? Fucking who? She was
look,
with Shayna
hey,
tonight and with.
hey. Just know that if I didn't have everybody sleeping because we're doing this late, I'll post the highlight reel that we're showing. I will post that on the page tomorrow for everybody to see.
Listen,
Good. Yeah.
if you are a female, hear me out, and you got a man in your life and he tells you he likes wrestling, listen, you is welcome to come watch too, because the ladies put on better matches than the men.
Heard that.
Okay,
Hey, yeah,
ladies, I'm
you know
telling
what,
you,
bro?
y'all listen. Y'all done crept y'all way into football, crept into basketball, y'all took over hockey. Okay, y'all love baseball. I'm telling you, give wrestling a chance. The females alone, from their athleticism, their skill work, their microphone work, their attire, that alone will draw you in.
You know what? Hey, I'll say this: 15 years ago, they were managers. You didn't see them in matches the way you do now.
Divas.
Because because now
They were
and
divas.
it's
I'm gonna call it what it is. They were being exploited by Vince McMahon and his fantasies and his sick shit on live TV during a time frame. Yes, we all may have liked it. That aside, it drew in the money that it did. But look at what they have done in the ring, bringing themselves to a whole nother level. I think
Let me.
they put on, like you said, Trevor. I think they put on better matches than the men when it comes to main roster.
Yeah. That now.
Because normally,
Now that the very first pay per view that they were given an opportunity, the very first WrestleMania, they had a main event in that match. Now you just not only get the main event, they didn't just get it; they actually blew the roof off the doors that night. Like those three ladies just didn't get in the ring and have a match. That was the fucking match of the night. And like you said, Trevor, to bounce off what you said, that was the match of the weekend in NXT, but the match of the Money in the Bank card was the female ladder match without a question. We all talked about it on the post show. It was fantastic.
listen, I'm a hint a little bit at what you said. When you I'm gonna hurt people's feelings when I say this. I'm gonna do my CM Punk. Okay,
Uh oh.
listen to me. Oh yeah, we got to take the glasses off because I'm finna hurt people's feelings. Tell me why. Don't get me wrong. I'm proud of where women are today and where they have come from to where they are. But look back at that early 2000, late 90s, early 2000s run, right before PG era took off and we got the ugly ass winged divas title. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
go back to when it was the woman's title. Only 3 women, or five, realistically 5, but let's be real, 2 women held that belt.
Yeah.
Trish Stratus. If your name wasn't Lita and your name wasn't Trish Stratus and they wasn't hurt and your name was Molly Holly, Jazz, or Victoria, you didn't touch that title. Hear me out.
Mickey James.
Keebler should have been a champion. Tori Wilson should have been a champion. They should have got the development that these stars are getting now. Granted, they had great careers as valets, and I take nothing from that. Hell, they told me a lot about women at a young age. I'm not gonna lie. They told me what I liked and didn't like at a young age, and I thank you. I like tall, long-legged women. Okay,
Right.
Anyway, that's besides the point. That's for a different day. Hear me out when I say this. Tori Wilson should have been a champion. She just needed to. She had the mic skills for a female at the time. She just needed the ring development that she never got. I mean, she was athletically gifted, personal trainer. Same with Stacy Keibler, who was also a model.
Yeah.
And you're just using them for their looks and occasionally taking poison mist to the face or an RKO.
Mm-hmm.
You could have started this women's revolution way back then. To the point now, women would actually surpass the men.
Yeah, because we won't get into it because one of those women that came out of that women's revolution. If it wasn't for that, she wouldn't be shit. Mercedes Monet.
10-4. 10. Like, listen, we will pick a day, guys. And we'll just go on tangents about topics like this.
Hey, we can do it all day long. You know what?
I'll definitely hurt some feelings.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to do that one.
Hey,
you can make it happen. I'll give you 3-4 hours of my time.
Speaking of AEW, let's talk about something that has come from them. Talking pay-per-view of the week or PLE of the weekend happened at Heatwave. Yeah. Pay-per-view saw former NXT wrestler. I would say star, but we'll get into that in a minute. But a month in, and he's NXT champion. That's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to keep it fair, but keep it honest.
Well, hang on.
Ethan Page winning the NXT championship only a month of being there shows you this dude is him. I get that's Carmelo Hayes' catchphrase. Now, Ethan Page came in, was like, fuck you, and then in 30 days was like, give me your title. I'm sorry, he put on a stellar match. Actually, all 4 men put on a great, stellar fucking match, but the fact that Ethan Page won, I'm sorry, I want to see where this goes now.
Well, hang on. Let's get into this topic while we're on it, though. I want you to answer it as well, Derek. We'll start. Did AEW fumble when it comes to Ethan Page?
Absolutely. And this is where that's a perfect way to start what I want to say off, because I do think they fumbled with him. I was actually a fan of his. He was one of the guys on the mic. Look, let me tell you something. He's no MJF, because MJF is the best thing talking in AEW. Right now, like he would get his ass in trouble in WWE with the bleeps. But when they moved to Netflix, MJF would probably be the best talker in the business, and have some competition then. But with getting back to Ethan Page, he's really good on the mic. His in-ring ability is really good. What I think is happening, and I fondled on this, since the topic come up, and we were like, "Holy shit, this just happened." What if he came in and not necessarily guaranteed himself a quicker title shot, but the segue between the two, two promotions is that belt. That belt's the segue. So maybe he said, you can't keep me on the NXT roster that long because I'm too damn good. And I think he is main roster material. That's my opinion. I think Ethan Page is main roster material, not could be, excuse me, but is. And I think maybe that giving him that title run gets him branded into the company in a quicker pace and gets him to the main roster a lot faster, which is where I think he should be, because that dude can carry something. I like him. I'm all on the hype train with that guy.
Well, agreed. And I wanna hear from you on this, Trevor. But
Okay.
for you to have a guy, and I was there with Corey at Double or Nothing when Ethan Page made his debut. Like, came out, and we seen him in the crowd. He was at Dynamite when Ethan Page made his debut, and we were there when he had his first match with Scorpio Sky in a tag against, I do believe it was Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I'll go back and check on that, but knowing he went from that to being underutilized in that company. I mean, we've talked about it. AEW don't carry storylines. He's had a couple. I'm sorry, when he first came in, he was beefing with Brian Cage and Ethan Hobbs.
Yeah.
Or Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
With FTW.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, you really didn't hear much from him. He'd pop up, he'd have his moments. He had a moment with Cody during his time with the company.
Yeah.
But Ethan Page, man, coming over to WWE, going into the developmental roster. And yeah, man, he's all ego for a reason. I understood who the dude was when he joined AEW, and I get it. He did, some Ring of Honor and TNA work.
Yeah.
But seeing what he did in AEW and what he was putting on, and that he wasn't getting utilized for WWE and Shawn Michaels to realize that and capitalize on it, bro, says everything.
That's
And
huge.
for me, I agree with you. That means he's going to the main roster next if he can carry that title. I think Trick Williams goes to the main roster after losing the title to beef with Carmelo, because there ain't going to be shit for him.
I think he will grow better in the main roster.
Absolutely. And I think Ethan Page is on that same trajectory. You get him to carry that title. If having that title elevates him, bro, you send him to that main roster.
Yeah, Trick Williams is a really big guy, and it's hard to elevate a big guy when you're having guys 2 inches shorter than him constantly beat him. To elevate him, and to be in these matches, he's supposed to be, a little inferior. So I totally agree with moving, your idea of, having him move up quicker. And again, going back to Carmelo Hayes, it's, you try to see that LA Knight thing going on, but LA Knight's got his hands full with Logan Paul. And, that leaves Carmelo Hayes as a Ricochet, just bouncing around in different ladder matches or different, briefcase matches, just to, have a filler body that can entertain. They're both good wrestlers, and watching their NXT feud, I'd like to see some more of that shit on the main roster, bro.
Absolutely. And you know what, we got just a few minutes left. Trevor, what are your thoughts, man, on this?
So, being fair, being honest, yeah, y'all fumbled the bag, and guess what? They're still not done fumbling the bag. I know certain people are not going to come back just because I get how you feel. You got burnt by them. Bitch, it'd be damned if I let you burn me again. So I get that. But I feel like that's not the only one they're finna fumble. I'm gonna tell you one that I'm waiting on that I feel it's coming real soon. Jungle Boy.
Hell no.
Hear me out. Not
Hell
for the
no.
main. No. Not hear me out. Not for the main roster. To replace on NXT, he would replace Wesley. You bring Wesley up, and you put Jungle Boy in that Wesley spot. That gives him time and all the time he needs to develop into what Jungle Boy really should be.
So
But yeah, they fumbled the bag. I love that he won the title. I feel like it's going to be 2-3 month title reign. If anything, his title reign will run until where we're at SummerSlam. Realistically, by Royal Rumble, he's in the Rumble and he's called up a few weeks after that.
anyway, alright. And we're gonna get into it because I just kinda had a thought we'll get into it Friday on the show. But maybe NXT ends up having to move to Netflix down the line. Because what if Vince and Shane McMahon, or Shane McMahon himself, purchases AEW and puts them on the USA Network and beats out NXT for that spot?
If anything
It could happen.
is tied to Vince McMahon, it will never touch TV again.
Hear me out.
If Vince will fund it with Shane's portion of what Shane is owed, I could see it happening.
Yeah,
It'd be fun. Like he has nothing to do with the company, but he's where the money from all of it comes from.
I will say this as somebody with business degrees. Yeah, even if Shane did purchase it and did the hidden with Vince McMahon funding it, but it's Shane McMahon's name and all that. The last name alone, I don't think you would want to deal with. And if you did find, I don't think USA wants to deal with it.
Hey,
So then you have to figure out what other TV brand is going to deal with it. Or realistically, fight like Shane buys it and he realistically can help turn it around and actually make it compatible and get the shit off TBS and TNT and get it on something a little bit more respectable like USA.
Shane, listen,
it wouldn't be instant.
Shane was always known to be more respected by the networks than Vince was.
Absolutely.
I don't think USA wants to lose. Because hear me out. You know you're getting consistency with WWE. If Shane was to buy and take over, I say you need at least 4 years of consistent good writing, good storytelling, good consistency with keeping your roster together, no turnover, no bullshit, before USA would want to talk. But I feel like USA would not want to lose out on the WWE money because you let WWE go all streaming.
What do you mean? They're paying WWE money.
I get that. But to lose that right for them to go all streaming, you're still...
I mean,
I'm sorry, there's not enough
I get where you're at, but
to keep that viewership money coming back in. At that, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as they pull SmackDown off USA and sports in like 3 years become all digital and streaming, oh yeah, that's the end of cable. So realistically, I don't think it's smart financially as the company to want to pay AEW to switch over.
So
cable is, by the time we hit 2030, cable's gone.
So hear me out on this one. The USA is going to lose the right to WWE's library. They'll be able to offer an opportunity to give AEW a library which they don't have currently.
Okay, hear me out on this one too.
I mean,
You,
and this doesn't have to
Doug,
happen like
right?
this
Instant.
would happen in about. And when I'm talking, I'm thinking 4 years.
So this is how I'm gonna look at it. Other than because you say, like you said, they don't have a library. WWE has a library that dates back to the beginning of fucking time.
Uh huh.
So I'm not gonna lie. That's the only reason Peacock have subscribers is wrestling fans. But you mean to tell me if you take over a company that don't have a library, yeah, they got the recording, but then you still have to build a library, and it's gonna take at least 6 to 8 months before it can even be played on the app. You're asking, you're
Okay.
gonna be in the shitter before it even looks pretty, and then you gotta hope AEW has fans again to realistically keep the subscription. I'm not gonna lie. I hate paying for Peacock every month. First off, I gotta pay for Peacock without football season, and I don't even watch Sunday Night Football on Peacock
Hey.
unless they say it's a Peacock exclusive.
And so hear me out. You'll be able to watch Raw no matter what, as long as you got that Netflix subscription. Your viewing experience will depend
Right.
on your tier. And that's gonna be exciting to see. I might start with the basic
So hear
and
me out.
just see how it is and then maybe gradually upgrade.
Hear me out because I'm on summer pay from work. I had to test it out. I had to see what it's gonna be like to have Netflix with no commercials. Right now, it seems okay. And this is with my pay scale being cut back. It don't seem to, and I'm only, and here's my thing. The issue is it just you watching or are you and the girls watching? If you and the girls watching, then yeah, you got to pay for multiple screens if they're watching in different areas. If you're
We'll
like
see.
me, just y'all watching in one area, pay for one screen.
We'll see, and hear me out on this part. I really wouldn't mind having those ads, those commercials, because think about it. Are you gonna pause? You can't pause a live event to go take a piss, go get food, go get
I
a
get
drink.
that. I get that.
Go do your thing. That's a perk. Now, I could see having like multiple addresses, per se. Have one account, have the basic, have that, on TV, get your ad, you go get your commercial, then you got your premium, you watch it while you're on your phone. I mean, it's excessive,
I
but
mean, hear me
think
out.
about that shit though.
I mean,
That'd be.
so hear me out. I think the real test, how we're going to be able to know what it's going to be like. I think how the real test is going to be is the Christmas football games.
Yeah.
How is it going to be at those Christmas football games when nationally it's a commercial break because there's a timeout, water break, ref timeout, all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Especially for those people who pay for no commercials. Like, how are you? So this is their test to see how they can Netflix play with the waters.
You're gonna have to let me know.
So, I mean, obviously, we'll all be watching Christmas games. That's the whole reason I really started the Netflix. I'm like, well, I need to start it early because Christmas games will get here, and I'd be like, oh shit, I don't have the money for Netflix. It's not in the budget, and then I'm like, fuck, how the hell I'm gonna watch these games? So I'm sorry if I cannot watch a football game, I low key start losing my fucking mind.
Hey, I feel you on that. I definitely feel you. It's getting that time.
So
there's
like,
gonna come a point we're not gonna be doing an hour and a half of straight power bombing shit. We're actually gonna have to pancake something in there.
hey,
It's coming up soon, fellas.
As an
Hey,
offensive,
thank God! Hey, thank God for the plunder.
offensive lineman, I am down to
Yeah,
pancake a bitch.
Speaking of which, don't forget to look out for another episode of the.
All right. Well, what he's trying to say is keep an eye out for the next episode of the plunder tomorrow. We're going to be streaming live. See, I keep talking to you about your internet, my man. Some bitch. But hey, while we're getting, we're getting right there on time, man. So let me just go ahead and say this: Friday night, man. For everybody that's still tuned in, thank you. But man, tune in again Friday night because we are putting together another special main event. We're going to throw together our own all women's pay-per-view because we do feel it's been a minute since we have had that women's revolution, that all women's pay-per-view showcasing their skills because like we said, they put on probably some of the best matches at these PLE and they absolutely have deserved their shot at one. And you know, since they can't really showcase themselves when they go over over to Saudi Arabia and places like that, I would love to see it when they hit a show in like the UK or even stateside at a massive event, a venue per se, because I feel they do deserve that. So we're gonna put together our own PLE event. And hey guys, I don't care if you want to throw a venue into this motherfucker for extra credit.
Heard that.
Because we said, hey, because don't worry, no matter what hey, just know, no matter what side of the camera we're all on, we all have sellouts here.
Hey, really quickly, for those of you for Friday, if you look, I already got notes going for my Friday fantasy booking. I'm telling you, it's there. I'm telling you.
I lit a fire with you, didn't I?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That SmackDown threw it in there.
Yeah, just doing his work, brother.
Hey, but just for time frame purposes, man, we're not gonna do the outro. But man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. We'll see y'all Friday night.